Welcome back to Aero Exploration and another This Week in Aviation History. My name is Jim, and in this episode, we're going to dive into the daring story of Amelia Earhart's groundbreaking solo flight from Hawaii to California on January 11, 1935. This flight wasn't just record-breaking, it was a pivotal moment in aviation history that tested the limits of courage, preparation, and innovation. But before we celebrate her triumphs, let's look at the history of this route and the enormous risks that made it such a bold undertaking. Though she wasn't the first to make the flight from California to Hawaii, she was the first attempt from Hawaii to California solo. By the 1930s, the Trans-Pacific route between Hawaii and California was seen as one of the most dangerous in aviation. The Dole Air Race underscored the perils of flying this route. That race was organized to promote aviation and Hawaiian tourism. The race would challenge aviators to fly from Oakland, California to Honolulu. Out of the 15 aircraft that entered, only 2 completed that journey. The rest of them either had to turn back, didn't take off in the first place, or disappeared, with tragic results. The Pacific at the time would claim the lives of many brave aviators, leaving behind stories of vanished planes and their peril. The grim track record of these routes made the prospect of flying solo across the Pacific all the more daunting. Earhart was well aware of the risks, but was determined to succeed where others had failed. Now, preparing for this flight was no easy task either. Earhart's Lockheed Vega, which had already proven reliability in her Atlantic solo flights, needed modifications to make this journey feasible. Mechanics would work tirelessly to optimize her fuel storage and ensure that every system was in perfect condition. Meanwhile, Earhart meticulously studied weather patterns, plotted navigation points, and rehearsed emergency procedures. But she'd faced some external pressures as well. Her sponsors, which included media mogul George Putnam, expressed serious concerns about the safety of this flight. The Pacific was unpredictable, navigational tools were rudimentary, and the solo flight left little room for error. A failure would mean not only personal tragedy, but potential setbacks for public confidence in aviation. Despite these fears, Earhart's unwavering resolve convinced them to proceed. So on January 11, 1935, Amelia Earhart took off from Wheeler Field in Honolulu at 4:30 p.m. Her aircraft was loaded with fuel, maps, and minimal supplies to keep her weight down. As she climbed into the evening sky, she faced immediate challenges. The Vega was sturdy, but lacked advanced instrumentation, requiring her to rely on dead reckoning, celestial navigation, and her own experience. Over the next 19 hours, Earhart would battle fatigue, shifting weather conditions, and the psychological strain of flying alone over a vast, unforgiving ocean. Headwinds would slow her progress, and turbulence made for a grueling journey. But her exceptional awareness and focus carried her through each obstacle. By January 12th, Amelia Earhart landed safely at Oakland Airport, greeted by an ecstatic crowd. She not only made history as the first person to fly solo from Hawaii to California, but also demonstrated the viability of long-distance air travel. Her sponsors, who had been on edge throughout her flight, celebrated alongside her, knowing that the success of this mission would inspire confidence in the aviation industry. Earhart's solo flight was more than a record-breaking achievement. It was her masterclass of preparation, courage, and situational awareness. Her journey emphasized the critical role of meticulous planning and remaining composed under pressure, lessons that remain foundational for pilots today. This flight also paved the way for future trans-Pacific aviation and cemented her place as a trailblazer, who redefined what was possible in the air. She showed the world that aviation wasn't about the machines, it was about the people bold enough to push the boundaries. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of This Week in Aviation History as we look back at one of Amelia Earhart's milestones. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more episodes of This Week in Aviation History right here on Aero Exploration.